Our pal Kim Mulkey was in the news once again this week. The biggest story in college basketball was this brawl that breaks out in the SEC championship game between South Carolina and the defending national champions LSU. And apparently, Kim Mulkey did not like that, but not for the reasons that you might think. After the game, Don Staley said something along the lines of the typical coach talk. That's not who we are. This was a bad mark for us. We're sincerely sorry. That's not what we teach here at South Carolina. Yada, yada, yada. Kim Mulkey also says it's not what you want to see. And then she just can't help herself. She has to say it. She says, but I wish this girl would have gone after Angel Reese. She's got 6 inches on Johnson, the girl she pushed for us. And I'm like, what? That is your response? That I wish you would have assaulted our best player instead? I kind of act surprised, but are we really surprised? And the national media is kind of latching onto this. Shannon Sharp was like on ESPN yesterday saying, well, what the heck was that? Seriously? She said that? And then he brings up a greater point, which is we have let Kim Mulkey, we, as in the media, I guess, and fans at large, have let Kim Mulkey get away with this for years. And if it was a man saying that, if it was John Calipari or Tom Izzo or Gino Auriemma or Vic Schaefer, we would let them get away with that? Heck no, we wouldn't. No. They would be lambasted and chastised and reprimanded publicly. But with Kim Mulkey, it's like, yeah, ho-hum. That's what Kim Mulkey does. Let me say this about the great women's basketball coach, Kim Mulkey. I love what she did for Baylor. Love it. That is forever immortalized. No matter the way she exited, she lifted Baylor and its athletic program to heights that it had not been to before. A major team sport national championship. It's women's basketball, not men's basketball, but she showed that you can win at Baylor in basketball, which had not been proven since the late 1940s that you could do this. And for every soundbite she had that was kind of like this one that she had yesterday, she showed a lot of support to Baylor and really cemented the athletics department and got it on the path to the glory days that we saw a decade and a half after they won their first national championship. Okay. That said, we are not surprised to hear her say things like this because it's head scratching. It puts you in a bind and you're like, why did she even say that? But we just now see her as this character that she wants to be, the hero in a spaghetti Western, the ranger in the song Big Iron. She's this great, like, gunslinger, old school, tell it like it is. And I'll give her some credit there too. She has never faked anything, I don't think. Being around Kim in the limited times that I was, she is that intense. She is that fiery. And she does speak what's on her mind. And she's not a phony when it comes to that. Now, what this made me think of, this quote yesterday, was a quote she had in early March of 2017 or late February of 2017. The Lady Bears, at the time known as the Lady Bears, beat somebody, won the Big 12 Conference Championship regular season, which they always did, and it was Kim's 500th win. So they had a big celebration down on the court, obviously with the Big 12 Championship trophy, little cake for Kim, 500th win, and she gets on the mic. And let me put this into context. This is obviously just months removed from the massive sexual assault scandal that rocked the football program at Baylor and the entire university. And Baylor was in the headlines for months and months, and never for a good reason. It was not a fun time nor an easy time to say, yeah, I go to Baylor, or to wear your Baylor gear out in public or in the airport or anything like that. It was very tough to find a point of pride with your university at the time. And trust me, I was there. It was terrible. You were embarrassed in a way to say that you went to Baylor, even though you knew the real Baylor. It was embarrassing. And at the end of that game, she grabbed the mic unprompted and within her speech, not asked about it. She said, my daughters went here. My daughter went here. I felt like I raised so many daughters here on this basketball team. And if anybody tells you that they won't send their daughter to Baylor, you hit them right in the mouth. Farrell Center goes nuts, me among them. And it was this galvanizing moment. Like, we at Baylor needed to hear that. We needed to hear someone stand up for us. And this was it. And we won it in a brash way, right? You look back on that now without the context, and you're like, who let her say that? What is she? She's talking about assaulting people. And it's all part of, I don't even want to say the character, because that's who Kim is. This is all part of Kim. You have to take the lumps of something like this, of, practically egging on another fight. Hey, why don't you pick on someone your own size rather than just, hey, this really stunk. But with that, you get national championships, which is what we saw at Baylor. And it's obviously what they have seen in a very short time there at LSU. So that's Kim. You get the good with the bad. But Shannon Sharpe is absolutely right. If a men's coach said that, or a male coach in women's basketball said that, we would be skewering them. And a lesser coach might even be fired. That's probably a bit too far, but suspended for saying that. A lesser coach might have been suspended for saying that. Especially when you're talking about, hey, why don't you go after our best player? It's just not what you say. It is uncouth. So on one hand, it's like, this is crazy. How does somebody say this? But on the other hand, it's like, what did you expect? This is who Kim is. To the point where I think it's a wild thing to say, and I don't think it's a good thing to say. But I also don't even think Kim should apologize, because she has not pulled any punches ever. But yeah, it is a double standard for some reason, because Kim Mulkey is Kim Mulkey, and she's won national championships, and she's earned that. She's earned the national championships. I don't know that she's earned a double standard. Anyway, I thought it was bizarre. Not too surprising, but Shannon Sharpe is absolutely right. If it were another head coach that was not named Kim Mulkey, we would not let her get away with that. The media, the fans, and probably their university would not let them get away with that. But Kim Mulkey is, in fact, Kim Mulkey.